Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome back once again, or for the very first time, to the Farts and Crap Show, where today, as per usual, it's your host Danjo here with another episode of Stick Tips. This is going to be part 18 on our ongoing series about controllers and recommendations, and this one is going to be about the 8BitDo Pro 2 wired controller, which just came out recently. Here in early first quarter 2022, and yeah, there are some games that I wanted to test out with it. I haven't had a whole lot of time with the controller yet, so this isn't a very thorough here's what's going on with the controller, this is what I recommend you do if you have a similar problem, how you we're not going to do a teardown like I usually do. Because yeah, since it's newer, I wanted to get a video out about it, and it'll make more sense by the end of the video. So let's go ahead and get to some points and some photography before we actually get to the gameplay. And there's a few various things I'm going to try out with this. So here it is. This is the Pro 2, the Gray Edition. I very much enjoy the aesthetics here. It's very similar to the other wired controller they have, the 8BitDo Pro USB, 8BitDo SN30 Pro, because they used to have that nomenclature for all of their controllers back in the day. They would have the SN30 to represent the Super Nintendo style ones, the SF30 if it was more styled after the Super Famicom, and they kind of dropped that naming convention, but I'm basically going to be comparing it to that controller, which is also the Gray Edition, and if you missed that episode, go ahead and check that out. That is in this playlist as well as the slightly older, but still relevant, SN30 Pro Plus. And, which I put way too far away from me for some reason. And yeah, there's a bit of a price difference between these three controllers. The most expensive one being the SN30 Pro Plus, which is kind of being quietly phased out for the Pro 2 wireless one. And that's usually between 45 and 50 USD. The new Pro 2 wired controller is only $35, which is a great deal. And the SN30 Pro USB is usually $25. So it's a little bit cheaper. But you're not getting as many features. And for some of these features, I would say it is worth the extra 10. But it also comes down to what form factor you like, because personally, I kind of prefer the actual Super Nintendo style one, because the only difference really is the handles and how the back buttons are formed and situated. Of course, the only wireless one here out of the bunch is the SN30 Pro Plus, and it's only Bluetooth wireless. Unfortunately, they don't have a 2.4 gigahertz wireless one of these controllers. I have talked about how I love the 8BitDo M30 controller, the 2.4 gigahertz version of that, because the latency is almost nothing, and the battery lasts a long time on that, and none of these have a big battery. Of course, the only one out of these three that has one is, you guessed it, the wireless one. But yeah, there's a lot of similarities between the SN30 Pro Plus and the wired Pro 2, so that's mostly what I'm going to be focusing on. Namely, the D-pad. The D-pad on the Pro 2 is improved. I will go ahead and say that right now. In my initial testing, I played a lot of 2D games. We're going to get to some of them here in this video. It was a better experience. It's a little bit more textured like the original Super Nintendo controller. I like that a lot. A big problem a lot of people were having with both the SN30 Pro Plus and the SN30 Pro USB is the cutout in the shell of the controller was a little bit too big. Like they didn't anchor the D-pad very well, so it would slide around a lot inside the cutout, and it just would not feel very good. They have improved that in this controller, and overall I would say the action on the D-pad feels great right out the box. Yeah, and you may notice in the previous shot, the D-pad on the SN30 Pro USB looks a little bit different, and that's mostly because I've used it a lot. So over time, like the oils from like your thumb or whatever will make it a little bit more glossy and less matte, but the mold is the same. The cutout and action is different. So I don't know if they're using improved, like updated conductive rubber membranes, or they just found a better way to anchor it. But either way, the action feels much better. The analog sticks on all three of these controllers are pretty much exactly the same, as far as I can tell. Again, I haven't taken apart the Pro 2 yet, but I have disassembled, done the cleaning, reassemble for the other two that I've used much more because I've had them much longer. But yeah, in comparison, it was hard to get a good shot of this because the D-pad is like straight black. And like sometimes it's just hard to get like, I guess macro shots is a good way to put it, like the close-up shots. But yeah, this is the G edition of the Pro Plus, and I don't really like using the D-pad on this controller. One, because it's a very thick plastic mold. So it raises up a lot, and it's modeled after the original like DMG Game Boy. So, but it's like Super Nintendo sized, which is a little bit different, like bigger and different. I do like how they designed it, like it looks really good, but essentially it's a gloss plastic, and they have like these little horizontal ridges going out from the center, which that's where your like matte plastic is to kind of give you a little bit better like grip action or whatever. It just doesn't feel good at all. I appreciate the dedication that they, trying to get it right, make it feel like a Game Boy D-pad, but it just doesn't feel good. Like if you're only tapping cardinal directions, left, right, up, down, it's fine, I guess, but if you're using primarily the D-pad for like 2D games, it does not feel good at all. I do like the color scheme and the design a lot. I don't like some of the parts. Like the buttons and the sticks, everything else feels good. But yeah, just wanted to point that out. Another thing that's very different is on the back, obviously. The most notable difference being that the Pro 2 wired controller has back buttons, and I actually really like the feel of these. You don't really press these on accident, which is kind of what I was worried about. But they have, I don't know the name of it. It's kind of like with the PDP Face-Off Deluxe Plus, the back paddles are kind of just like these plastic pieces to basically tap a mechanical switch on the main board, on the back of the main board of the controller. And I think this is the same thing, because they definitely have that exact same sound and feel. So I'm pretty sure that's what it is, and I like how tactile that feels. With some other back paddle buttons, I mean, they're not quite paddles. Most people refer to them as back paddles, rear mounted buttons, whatever. They design them like buttons, so there's still like a conductive rubber membrane in there. When it's like, why? You don't need that. You could just have it be a tactical, but whatever. Point of preference. The other big difference here is the plastic shell itself. And again, this was kind of hard to get a good shot of, but the back of the SN30 Pro Plus, it's strange because it's a little bit different from the front. You may have noticed on the previous shot that the front part of the handles, they have a little tiny bit of a texturing to them. The back, not as much. Like, it feels like good plastic, but it's just smooth. And I'm not a huge fan of that. It's okay at first. After a little while of using it, it becomes kind of gross feeling. I can't think of a more apt way to describe it. It's a little gross feeling. Whereas on the Pro 2, it has these little bumps all over it, which is really, really nice. Like, it feels really good. Like, there's a little bit of texture to it. And again, it was kind of hard to get a good shot of, but I got one. And the front is the same, the front of the shell. It's got that good quality plastic feel, but the back texture is very welcome. Very much so. I kind of wish they continued the pattern on the back buttons. You may notice it's mostly just like that good plastic from the front of the shell, but it gives it a really good feel. Like a really good feel. I love it. It actually reminds me a lot of the Hori Split Pad Pro, because it makes the Switch a little bit easier to hold on to, and that's partially why. It's kind of the same design philosophy in the hands. It is reminiscent of that. If you have used a Hori Switchpad Pro, it's a tiny bit similar. But yeah, that is pretty much all I gotta say about that. Oh, the other thing about the Pro 2, it has profiles. So that little button in the middle, as you press it in the software, you can set up different like customizations. So you can set like your dead zones, the trigger sensitivity, the button mappings, macros, all kinds of stuff. The vibration, like if you don't like, for me, I don't like vibration in my controllers on any games. So on a system level, basically, I can turn it off, which I love. I absolutely love that. In fact, I didn't select my profile when I reconnected all the controllers. But anyway, that's going to do it for the photography portion. So let's go ahead, get rid of those. And first, I wanted to show you guys a modern game with this controller. So I loaded up Monster Hunter Rise. And we'll go ahead and do that for a minute. I didn't want to go past half an hour, so in the next 15 minutes, we're going to have to go through 4 different titles, I think. Because I wanted to throw on a more modern 2D game, retro 2D game, a modern game, and I guess we could just do the 3. Of course, there's been another update. Sunbreak is coming out in summer 2022. Yeah, I'm so excited about that. Because Monster Hunter Rise has been doing really well. It's been doing really well. And I'm very happy about that. I was very expecting that, honestly. But personally, I haven't played in a while. The other thing that's really nice about this controller, I gotta say, like, because yes, the various, ooh, that's nice. Yeah, the lack of, I have it set to 0 dead zones right now. So yeah, the sticks feel good. They said they did some bug fixes too, so maybe this is partially in the game too. Something came in. Oh, the new add-on content. Right. Sorry, I'm being stupid. It's been a while. I'm not going to do a full mission, obviously. So we'll just go to the training grounds real quick. Oh, the other thing that I actually use in this game, which is pretty rare for me, there is no motion control in this game. There is motion control in this game. There's no motion control in this controller. This is not the training grounds. I forgot how to go places. I know how to fast travel places. Oh, this is on the way to the training area. Right. Why do they have this guy in the middle? I don't remember. Oh, for training the palicos and palamutes. The buddies. Alright, here we go. So this is a great part about the game, is just go to the training grounds and you can learn a lot of the moves for specific weapons and stuff. I love it. It's great. So it's like, okay, so I want to do basic combo, so forward and X, 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 A. There we go. That's cool. Or if you go into... Turn that down a tiny bit. If you go into a, let's see, a rising slash, what's a good... Hold ZR. Oh, there we go. Yeah. So if you have like an alternate form kind of thing, like a stance change, it'll tell you like the other moves that are available in that stance change. So when you're guarding, you can do a guard thrust, which you can transfer into other stuff. Guard thrust into shelling, which that's not what it... Oh, because I was still holding it, right. There we go. You can do the reload, which I guess it does say guard reload right there. You can do a quick reload? How do you do the quick reload? Do I have it not set to quick reload? That is quick reload, isn't it? Do I not have it set to quick reload? I think I took it off, because you can customize like your specials a little bit. But yeah, with the wire bugs, you can control this with motion, which is really nice if you're in the middle of a fight and then you just want to like quickly like move the thing, because you can basically aim it and then pull yourself in a direction. So if by chance, let's see, because there's a jump? There is no jump. Right? Am I tripping? There's no... Yeah, and then you can do stuff like that. So for jumping around field, there's a lot more verticality in this one. But I gotta say, like, the smoothness of the sticks, it feels nice. They might actually be improved sticks. I'm not sure. But yeah, like, you don't really use the D-pad much in this game. I use it mainly for quick swapping between items that I want to use. Isn't that... Okay, that is guard reload. Yeah, it must have taken off quick reload, because quick reload doesn't fully reload your gun lance in this game. But if you check your item box, you can change your switch skills. Ah, right, there's guard reload or quick reload. Right, so quick reload is faster. Guard reload is a full reload. And then ground splitter is super useful. Blast dash So good. Hold A and release, right? ZR and A. That's really good. Yeah, especially if you want to get around the field real quick. It's not as, like, obvious here in the training grounds. There are raised areas, but not that many. And, like, there's, like, the big ropes up there, but you can't go all the way up there. So if you were to, for example, go like, then, and then, is it jump with B? Yeah, and then ZA. Nope, that didn't work. Why did that not work? There we go. Yep. So you can, if you can string those along, it's very, very useful. But yeah, I like the feel of the sticks. I think even, yeah. I will say, because I don't really use the SN30 Pro USB for this one, on the SN30 Pro Plus though, the sticks are okay, but these do feel better. I wonder if that's just because they're newer. Possibly. What am I switching between? Oh, that's to lock on to a target. Right. Okay. Because I have the back buttons set to, I actually forgot they were there for a second. I have them set to the stick clicks. And you can't open your map in this one, so... I don't remember what up and down on the D-pad changes between. Okay. Yeah, like I said, it's been quite a while since I played. But, yeah, it feels good. I really, really like this a lot. Unfortunately, you have to use the application on your computer to assign the back buttons. So that's not great. I feel like, because like with my PDP controller, the Face Off Deluxe Plus, it has a function button so you can map like whenever. You don't have to, you know, connect it to an app or anything. So we'll go ahead and close that. See, we have like 7 more minutes, so I'll just throw on Streets of Rage 4 real quick. And then I was gonna do like a little bit of Switch Online, but mainly just like Super Mario World, because I've played that a ton, and it's one of the games I usually throw on when I'm testing a D-pad. So, but yeah, I will say the little bumps on the back of the controller makes a big difference. It makes a really big difference, because like I hated how my hands were constantly like sliding around, especially after like, I don't know, even just a few minutes of playing. I think we're okay on that. Okay, yeah, we're fine. So let's just go into story. I know I could go into training, but I'm not as fond of the training mode. Usually when I want to test something, I just throw it on like a normal difficulty kind of thing. I'll just play as my main girl, Cherry. And yes, in case you're wondering why I have like palettes and all these other characters and stuff, I have the DLC for this game, and it's fantastic. If you haven't played, if you don't have this game, you really should pick it up. It's wonderful. No spoilers, please, because they're going to be talking about some story-specific stuff. Yeah, the Underground's fine. But yeah, this is a game that definitely relies on you to have a very firm grasp of the movesets and everything, as well as precise control over timings and stuff like that. But yeah, the thumb rolls are going just fine. The BY. Just what I have it set to at the moment. I haven't really played around with... And this feels a little bit like Betrayal, honestly. Because I always play this with my M30. Like, the game's just like, you're not using your Sega controller. It's Streets of Rage. You gotta play with your Sega controller. Go ahead. Ah, flying kick. The bane of my combos. So it's a little bit unfamiliar and a little bit unfair because I'm just used to one specific controller for this game. Let's see. But yeah, the thumb rolls are feeling good. The D-pad's feeling good. Again, I prefer the Genesis or Saturn controller. So it's not, or not controller, D-pad. Like, that's my favorite D-pad of all time. So the fact that it's going up against that is it's good. It's really good. And like, one thing that I have a problem with, oh geez, even with the other one, the oh man, barely was not close enough for that. The SN30 Pro USB, which I've touted as my favorite Switch controller before, I have said that. The one downside it has, because I've talked about how in previous episodes about the... I think I've done 3 episodes? Stick tips on the SN30 Pro USB? Possibly. I know I've done 2. Oh, whoops. I thought there was time. It's also hard to play effectively, like, when I'm trying to be analytical. But, I mean, it's just on normal difficulty, so no big, but this is also later in the game, too, when the game starts expecting you to know exactly what you're doing. So it's not exactly... There we go. Oh. Alright. It's not exactly, like, simple, I guess. Like, they do some mix-ups. But, yeah, Lizard Cube and Guard Crush made this one. Obviously, Capcom makes Monster Hunter. Duh. But, yeah, the SN30 Pro USB has some problems with the D-pad, specifically with diagonal inputs, especially if you're holding an input to roll into a different input. Like, for example, with Cherry, you have to double tap and hold to run. If you roll your thumb to down or up, that's how you kind of angle your run a little bit. So on that controller, on the Pro USB, I would often have... Oh, whoops. I would often, like, run with Cherry and then be canceled out of the run because, like, it would miss that it was a roll. It would just kind of, like, go to down or up instead of, like, rolling to diagonal, which is kind of a problem for games like this because it can make the difference. But like, this of course is based on the bar level in Streets of Rage 2, I think. It's not the first one. No, it's in Streets of Rage 2. But anyway, that's enough of that. It feels good. I still prefer the M30 for this game, but specifically for this game. in particular for Super Nintendo games and 2D games in general, and especially if you want to get one controller that can do everything. So far, yeah, I highly recommend this one. If you absolutely need motion control, I mean, this is not the controller for you, obviously, because you can't do that. Oh man, that's right. They restart you with 5 lives every time. Let's just use a save state so I can keep my power-ups and my lives. But yeah, I was playing this like yesterday, honestly. And the reason why it looks like windowed is because I'm a stickler for having pixel perfect. How did I miss that? Oh, because you need Yoshi to do that. That's right. Otherwise, you have to. It's timed perfectly, so you can just like fly and jump or whatever and go across the whole thing, which is not a good showcase for this particular video. And we're pretty much out of time, so I should definitely do something where you have a lot of different inputs. Whoops. You have to hold the button if you want to float. That's fine though. But yeah, it feels good, it feels responsive. I don't feel like any inputs are being... It bounced off of that. You guys saw that. I don't feel like any inputs are being missed, which is definitely what you want, especially in a platformer. Because if you got missed inputs, you're probably gonna screw up. There we go. That's the way it goes. I couldn't remember. No, it's not there. Different stage, maybe? I don't know. Yeah, it's a different stage, I think. What I'm thinking of. But yeah, it feels precise. Doesn't feel like there's like no lag really. Jeez. Which of course everybody hates lag. Nobody likes it. Oh, that was my shell, Chuck. You charging chucklehead. I was gonna use that to get a free 1,000 points, essentially. I'm pretty sure your blue shells transform into whatever power-up is currently equipped when you cross the thing, so... Oh, I need the secret one. Whoops. I thought I needed the other one. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Anyhow, I think that is going to do it for this video, guys. So, thank you very much for stopping by. I was just thinking if there's anything else I wanted to test. I don't think so. I don't think so. The other thing too is I never know when like a new firmware is out for this one, because usually they post the firmware on like their 8BitDo support website, which is very much appreciated. I like to know because I check back there often. But yeah, in their firmware updater application, it works just fine with that. I think actually in the software too, I believe. Did I even have to use the firmware updater? I don't know. Anyway, the firmware is, oh my goodness, it's just fine. It's totally fine. Haven't had any problems with the firmware. I have mentioned that before. That is like my main criticism of the SN30 Pro USB. It's a great controller, but the firmware is still screwed up. 1.04 is still messed up. Especially because like it's laggy for some reason in games that use wireless communication of any sort. So like if you play online in any kind of game, yeah, there's like some weird lag to it. Didn't have that problem in 1.02, so that's the one that I have it on. But yeah. I have talked about how the firmware in the SN30 Pro Plus is not as bad, and there was a problem with like the battery indicator and some other stuff. It's fixed now, it's fine. But yeah, I don't really like using wireless controllers, honestly. So that's the thing with that. This is the other one? There's a secret exit for this one too, isn't there? Yeah, Star Road thing is over here, isn't it? Is that this level? I think it is. Man, it has been a while since, not since I've played the game, but since I've, went for all the exits in this game. But I'll be doing that in the future at some point. So, yeah, that's gonna do it for today, guys. If you have any other questions about the controller, let me know. I will address those comments as they come in. Hopefully, I'm usually a little bit slow to get to comments, but a few days later, I will get to it. Also, inevitably, I am going to make another video about this controller after I get some time with it. Again, I just got this like yesterday, so I'm going off of the testing I did then and the testing I've been doing since then, and of course for this video. So far, everything is positive, and honestly, I prefer wired controllers in general. I don't really like Bluetooth, so for a Switch controller that's at a great price and has great build quality and all that stuff, yes, I highly recommend this one. The one downside I would say for this controller is I was really hoping I could use it on PS4 with my Brook Wingman XE adapter. It does not work. It doesn't recognize it at all. I tried like starting it in different modes and stuff because the SN30 Pro Plus does that, the SN30 Pro USB does that. Like if you hold certain things when you plug it in, it enters like a different mode. With Pro Plus, you kind of need that so you can switch it, so you can pair it with Mac OS, Android, Switch, iOS? Did I say iOS? Anyway, it has 4 different modes for the 4 different face buttons. But, yeah. Personally for me, yeah, I prefer the lower latency and just not have to worry about charging the battery and all that other stuff. So, but yeah, gonna get going. Thank you guys for being here. Hope you guys found this video, you know, fun, interesting, or helpful, any of that stuff. And of course, before we get going, a very special thank you to the Farts and Crap Show members. Right now, it's just at the time of recording, it's Novalis Draconis, but if you want to be awesome like Novalis Draconis, check out the join button right next to the subscribe button if you want to support the show more directly. It's a paid monthly subscription thing. Lots of channels offer it, and it helps out immensely. The one we have here starts at only $3 a month, so it's like 10 cents a day. But yeah, liking and subscribing is always free, so if you can do that before you go, highly appreciated. And till next time, everybody, take care, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.